As Donald Trump continues his war of words with Elon Musk, things are getting worse for America's most controversial figures. Because Trump has faced yet another legal blow over his illegal deportation plan. The moments when Carolyn Leavitt seemed to break down on Fox screens did not surprise viewers. Welcome to the Liberty Left. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support is invaluable to us. Now let's get into the details.
And it got personal. Elon Musk claiming, oh, Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Well, it's been well known that Donald Trump said that Elon was angry over Trump's decision to end the electric vehicle mandate. I can certainly understand why Elon, wants that in the one big beautiful bill. Pretty obvious, pretty apparent, understandable difference. And on the Epstein issue, wasn't it Donald Trump? He booted Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago nearly 20 years ago because he was one of the first people to realize just how horrible Epstein really was. And by all accounts, he was kicked out because of his treatment of young women. Now, Democrats and the media, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm just wondering, putting two and two together. I truly wonder if our old friend Bill Clinton, how you doing? Good to talk to you. We know he had a relationship with Epstein. That's been reported on. Is he in the? Is Bill Clinton? Is he in those files also? I can't say for sure. I haven't seen them. But if I was a betting man, I know where I'd put my money. Now, if by some chance that Bill Clinton is in there, I wonder if he kicked Epstein out of his life.
Elon Musk has come out claiming that Trump was involved in the Epstein documents. So think about it. The billionaire war has now reached the level of you were an Epstein supporter. At this point, you really want to grab some popcorn and watch. But at the same time, you're thinking, these guys are running the country, man. It's like a joke. What is Trump saying? I kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago years ago. Yeah, right, because Trump has always been a champion of women's rights, hasn't he? Come on. We're talking about a guy who said, grab them by the... Now he's saying, Clinton might be in the files. I'd play that card if I were him. Are you kidding me? After all these years of hiding Epstein documents from the public, they suddenly become an excuse to say, look, Clinton might be guilty. It's classic Trump tactics. When accused, change the subject, distract attention. Always the same game. This man has no policy, no strategy, just chaos. Because in the end, the cruelty is the point.
That's right, Sean. And tonight, the president's focus and the focus of the entire White House remains on passing the one big beautiful bill. And as your audience just saw on Friday, just days ago, the president graciously hosted Elon Musk in the Oval Office, and Elon thanked the president for his incredible leadership to cut waste, fraud, and abuse in our government, which this one big beautiful bill does. So the only difference between Friday and today is Elon went back to his companies, and as a businessman, he has a right to speak for his companies. But as President Trump has a responsibility to fight for this country. And the one big beautiful bill is the most historic piece of legislation that has moved through Capitol Hill in modern day history.
And here we come to the funniest part of the Fox News Theater. The one big beautiful bill. Yes, I'm serious. These people had nuclear codes in their hands. Carolyn Leavitt appeared on screen and said, looking us straight in the eye, Trump met with Elon in the Oval Office, showed great leadership, cut waste, ended corruption. Sis, whatever you're drinking, give us some. This whole greatest bill in history nonsense is a Trump classic. Whenever they want to feed the public an empty policy, they immediately package it in fancy language and try to sell it, saying big, beautiful, as if justice, equality, and human rights will just pour out of it. But the truth is, this so-called bill is often about giving tax cuts to the wealthy, cutting public services, and then trying to sell it as fighting waste. Remember, he called it a historic tax cut before, and what was the result? Bezos got richer, you got poorer. That's the name of the game. Big talk, zero substance.
Let me ask you about the judge blocking this Colorado terrorist family and the deportation that was to take place and the travel ban that the president put in place yesterday.
Well, this is just another rogue decision by a rogue judge who is trying to be, I don't know, the president of the United States, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Homeland Security. Surely these important matters of both Homeland Security and national security do not belong to lower district local judges in these districts across the country. They are trying to block the deportation of a terrorist family who has been illegally present in the interior of our country. We also have a judge, as you know, Sean, who tried to block the deportation of illegal immigrant rapists and murderers to the country of South Sudan. And so now those illegal immigrants, those rapists, those murderers, those brutal criminals are sitting in Djibouti, and ICE agents have been forced to stay on the ground in a very dangerous part of the world to oversee the care of these illegal criminals and migrants because a lower district court judge said that they have to. Lower district court judges do not get to dictate the foreign policy and the national security interests of the United States of America. We can't run a country if the executive is not allowed to freely exercise its powers. And that's what we're seeing take place. President Trump is not shy of lawfare, though. It is something that he has faced throughout the entirety of his political career. So the Trump administration is fully prepared to fight these battles in court. We will win on the merits of the law, and we know we are winning in the court of public opinion. The American people overwhelmingly support the deportation of illegal criminals, and especially known terrorists like the one who put the terrible terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado on full display on Monday.
Here we go again. The Trump administration's favorite play, hostility toward the judiciary. Carolyn Leavitt appears on Fox News and says, "A local judge prevented us from deporting a terrorist family. These guys are acting like they're the Secretary of State." What can we say? In the eyes of Trump supporters, the Constitution is still just a suggestion. Remember, these people only praise the judiciary when it approves of what they want. In all other cases, phrases like enemy judges, deep state, and activist judges trying to run the country fly around. And the real issue is this: the judiciary's role is to oversee the executive branch's arbitrary actions. When a president says, "This family is terrorist," the judiciary is not obligated to treat everything he says as law. That's not how the law works. But according to these people, it works like this. We decide, you shut up. The cruelty is the point. And most of these so-called terrorist accusations, either baseless or entirely based on racist prejudices. They call it the Boulder attack, but don't tell the truth. Portraying all immigrants as potential criminals has been the core propaganda of this movement for years. The judiciary balancing this out actually shows that the system is working. But of course, that doesn't suit their purposes.
The term secret police invokes a kind of haunting specter when you hear it. When we see representations of secret police in the movies or in history, we immediately identify it with a certain kind of regime, one that tramples people's liberty with no accountability. We associate it with authoritarian governments and dictatorships like the Soviet Union, where people, usually armed, can wield the authority of the state but are themselves totally unaccountable in the same way. Whatever issues there are with American policing, and there are many, many of which we've covered here, at least our police officers have names on their uniforms and badge numbers. Now, in the Trump-Stephen Miller era of immigration and renditioning, one cannot help but notice in clip after clip, in interaction after interaction, that the people enacting these raids have all the qualities you associate with the concept of secret police.
And here we are, face to face with the dark side of Trump's immigration policy. Masked, nameless, uniformless men are taking people away in the middle of the street. No ID, no court order, just a "we are the state" look. This is not a constitutional state. This is dystopia. The first thing that comes to mind when I watch these scenes is, this must be a movie. It can't be real. But it is real. And the scariest part is that these scenes are taking place in America, the place that's marketed as the land of freedom. When we think of secret police, we think of the Soviets, East Germany, the Pinochet regime. But now, thanks to Trump and Stephen Miller, those images are playing out in Boston, in San Diego. Masked men are rounding up people off the streets. They don't even say their names. It's not just documentary characters experiencing this. These are people, this country's students, gardeners, our neighbors. This sense of fear is familiar. These ruthless tactics used against immigrants are no coincidence. The cruelty is the point. And if we don't speak up now, who can guarantee that tomorrow it won't be our turn?